Awesome possum. How's it going, everybody? It's BallietBran here. So today we got another live stream. It's going to be with GoldKey today. Him and Tanto Nomanai, or Dipcatcher, are part of Maximus Dao. And so we're going to talk about how this is a product that, can help Hexicans, why it's beneficial, what is the reason why someone would want to use such a product, and just kind of ask him some questions, maybe how he had gotten into the crypto community in general, Hex community, and then maybe why they wanted to develop such a product, things like this. I'm really excited to do this interview. So we're not going to waste any time. Maybe we'll go for an hour at most, but I like to keep these streams a little bit more short and more precise. So we're definitely going to get into it in just a second here. Let me just say hi to the chat and recognize everyone. Red Squirrel, we got Astro Rev, we got Marcavelli Crypto Shifters, Naeem Khan, nice to see you. Hex Farmer. What else we got? Funk Master Hex. We got Brazology. How's it going, Brazology? Good to see you. Culture Critique. It's been a minute since I've seen you, so nice to see you, Culture Critique. Let's see. Mofit Meals by Monica. Morning, gentlemen. Nice to see you, Monica. Hope all is well. We got Blue, and then once again, Hex Farmer. So let's and then Jubot Bot. So anyways, let's get into it, everyone. Once again, thanks everyone for being here. If anyone has any questions about Maximus Dao, why it's beneficial, things like this, we can try and tie in some of those questions with the interview. But let's do the intro without further ado.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Yeah. Say hey. Say hey. Motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. BallietBran. It's fabulous.
Cool. Yeah, GoldKey, if you want to give me just a thumbs up, just to confirm we're good. Okay, cool. All right, guys and girls, without further ado, let's bring on GoldKey, co-founder, and him and Dipcatcher of Maximus Dao. How we doing, man?
Good. Wow, man, you have the best intro out of any streamer. That was like getting me hyped up, man.
Well, I always have to give credit where credit's due, and that's definitely Joe Hexotic. So
awesome.
And he used to stream a lot more, but it's cool to see that he's kind of doing his own thing and living life the good way, But he he had spent X amount of hours on that, and for someone like yourself that that's got like a lot of attention to detail and design and things like that, that definitely means something. So yeah, shout out to Joe, because I know he spent a lot of time doing that. And when he first played it, I was like, dude, can I use this for my intro? And so he let me use that, and I always try and give credit where credit's due. So it's awesome, dude. So many talented people.
Seriously, man, that was amazing. Thank you so much for being on here. I'm on stream with the legend, so thank you so much for having me.
Hell yeah, dude. It's a great community. It's never met more people that I could call my friends, that I've had such good relationships with, and things like that. And it's really cool. I mean, obviously I know the Hex community and things like this, when you're locking up something for such a long time and delaying something for such a long time, it's kind of hard not to have like the Spartan Shield or something that's a super strong core, That obviously not everyone can make it through to the end or things like that. But over time, it just gets stronger and stronger as the bond gets, more melded. So anyways, it's awesome to have you on as well. And I know we were chit-chatting a little bit in the green room, and yourself and Dipcatcher, kicking ass and taking names. And I love to see the implementation and the building that the community is doing. I always said that, like, it's not Richard Hart. We can't expect Richard Hart to build everything. It's got to be some of the community with similar values and similar things like that that also build stuff as well.
Yeah, man. Richard Hart's a huge inspiration for both of us, and in building this, we've really internalized a lot of things that he's taught us, and tried to build the product from that place. So we're very excited about it.
Oh yeah. Well, cool, man. I guess let's get right into it. Do you
Cool.
do you want to maybe introduce yourself to, because I've never had you on the channel before. Do you maybe want to introduce yourself, what you and Dipcatcher are doing, how long maybe you've been in crypto or like the Hex community, and kind of what inspired you guys to do this idea in the first place? Because I really think it's genius.
Awesome. Yeah. So my name's Stan, aka GoldKey, and I've been in Twitter. I mean, I've been in crypto since 2018, and that
Nice.
was definitely thanks to Dipcatcher. And we've been best friends since 5th grade. Grew up playing football together. We're best friends through high school, and then went to different colleges. And during his senior year, he was building this radical product, which was essentially a pair of eyewear with a 3D camera embedded inside of it. And so that was like a senior capstone project for him. And then I was out in Newport Beach, California, and he was in Arizona, and he convinced me to quit my job and start a startup with him. And so that was kind of our first go at building something together. And we launched the first 3D social media platform on iOS, which was awesome. And then since then, we've just been working together on startups. Last startup we worked on was a legal tech startup. Now we're building Maximus together. Been in Hex.
That's awesome, dude.
Dipcatcher was in Hex like before it launched, and he was telling me all about it. So he got me in really early, very thankful for that. And watching the community grow and being able to be a part of it has been really awesome. So yeah,
that's cool. It's that's awesome. It's cool that you guys are good friends, and that, like, I know people that I'm close with or things like that. And just because you have a recommendation doesn't mean the person listens, right? You can lead the horse to water, but you can't force it to drink, type of deal. And so anyways, that's awesome of, your guys' relationship for Dipcatcher to, not only get you into crypto, because I think the space is totally, it's so early. Like when I first got in, same thing, 2017 and stuff. The analogy that I always heard, and I was born in 96, but I've got older brothers and stuff, but the analogy that I had always been told was like, it's like the internet in the 90s, and it's so early as far as what the technology and the products are capable of, but kind of where we're at with like a social consensus and like the world, like once again, why would I use email when I can use snail mail, type of deal? But then when you see some of the things that you guys are building, or that Richard's built, right, with programmable yield, the second most popular product at your bank, then it really is kind of replacing a system. It's replacing the current system with a more sovereign system with no downtime and things like that. So good on Tanto and Dipcatcher for getting you in, dude, because that's a good friend right there. Yeah,
for real. I mean, Dipcatcher is one of the smartest people I know, so I usually listen when he's onto a new thing, and it's worked well. So and then him being a self-taught developer and myself being kind of a self-taught product designer, we're kind of a solid team to build stuff. So it's been fun.
Hell yeah. Well, cool, man. Let's get right into it. So what is Maximus Dao? Can you, I guess maybe, wherever you kind of want to start off with. I know like the Dao, honestly, I haven't really looked into a whole bunch of DAOs. I know it stands for like distributed autonomous organization. But can you maybe, tell the Hexicans and the people listening and that also watch it after, what is Maxi, right? Maximus Dao. Why should people care about it? What benefit does it have to your average Hexican, and maybe just some of the value proposition for why you guys designed it and invented it the first place?
Yeah, definitely. So you could think of Maximus as kind of a staking tool, right? And so it's a smart contract that allows trustless pooling of a MaxLink hex stake. And so how it will work is at launch, a 14-day mint phase will start where you can mint one Maxi per one hex pledged to the Maximus contract. So not a sacrifice. Like when you pledge your liquid hex, you immediately get your tokens. Once that 14-day mint phase is over, all the hex used to mint Maxi will then be staked for a Quattro Cinco. So during the life of that stake, we also built in an integration with Hedron where anyone can call the mint Hedron function. And when that's called, the Hedron goes into the Maximus treasury, which is essentially just the Maximus contract. And also by having this liquid token, you're able to trade with it, which, enables like liquidity options. You can also provide liquidity. And then once that stake ends, the redemption phase starts where you can redeem your portion of the hex and principal, or the hex principal plus interest and the Hedron from the Maximus treasury by burning your Maxi. So, it's pretty simple for most people. It's actually probably more simple than staking. You just, mint your Maxi and then you redeem at the end. So kind of the benefits are maximum yield, right? So you get the 200% bigger pays better bonus. We'd like to say that it amplifies the bigger pays better bonus. We don't know as far as like participation if we're going to get to 150 million hex, but we're definitely, especially for like smaller stakers, you're going to get a bigger pays better bonus just by participating. So kind of maximum yield, instant liquidity, having the Maxi ERC PRC 20 token, gas fee savings. So, a lot of small stakers are, trying to get T-shares by doing a MaxLink stake, but there's a chance that, they might not be able to end those stakes, especially, on Ethereum, especially. So by pooling, we're saving massive in gas fees. And also, by pooling, the gas fee savings keeps money in Hexicans' pockets, because rather than going to Ethereum miners to end these stakes, we're consolidating that to just one gas fee payment. And then the last thing, kind of ties into the liquidity aspect, but I call it market utility. So being able to use, your Maxi token however you want as far as like yield farming opportunities go. So those are kind of the four main benefits of why someone would want to use Maximus.
Dude, that's so cool. I love the idea and I love the concept, right? Once again, it's taking something that Richard Hart has designed and developed and kind of just adding another layer of game theory and kind of not even of complexity, like you mentioned. It's something that's very simple. It's very easy to understand, especially if you know how the actual contract works itself. And you mentioned the bigger pays better bonus, which caps out at 150 million. So I actually got a question. So, because I was actually wondering about this. So say if you guys do get more than 150 million, are you just going to do all of that, right? Are you going to do all of that after so it sounds like there's a 14-day phase kind of deal, right? Where you mention you take your liquid hex and you're kind of, what's the process of that? Is it like a smart contract or something that because I didn't play around with that part on the testnet, but can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So minting is basically, it's similar to like a Uniswap swap, but it's minting because the tokens are actually being created by the contract. So it's a very, very simple transaction through our DApp where, you enter the amount of hex that you want to pledge, you approve that, similar to a Uniswap, that amount that you are allowing the contract to access, and then you mint, and you will instantly receive your Maxi tokens in your wallet. So really, really simple process. yeah, we've run 2 test phase and it worked flawlessly. So yeah, we're getting close
That's
to launch.
cool.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. That's so exciting. Yeah, I love that. You know, it's really cool the way that the community once again is designing products that, you know, not only benefits everyone, but you mentioned too the you know, this is something that I think yeah, maybe does get overlooked sometimes, and it's really something to consider, especially with the way that the ETH network has kind of been with some of the stakes. I mean, it used to be a couple pennies to end it, and
Yeah.
you know, I've seen as high as like a couple grand, you know, to end
Yeah.
some of these stakes.
Hmm.
And that's just for, you know, maybe a couple year stakes. But so the point is yeah, you kind of mentioned, and I've heard Dipcatcher mentioning this too, that obviously with the blocks and stuff, that there's only so much kind of
Hmm.
data that can kind of be filled in. So it's cool what you guys are doing is, you know, computationally efficient for how people are able to stake, kind of, you know,
Yeah.
get that yield, get those rewards as well. And I love how you guys tie in the hedron as well. You know, like how cool
Hmm.
is that? That it's kind of just a win-win all across the board.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, shout out to Alex for building an awesome product. And you know, when we were first introducing Maximus, like the Hedron stuff was just coming out. And Alex had actually hopped into our Telegram like right when we opened it and was like, you guys should, you know, you just build this in as well. And Tonto was able to add that to that integration in the smart contract, and even improve upon it from our first test because initially we were only going to have that run once before the stake ended, like the day before. But then once we learned from our community about the AMR bonus, we enabled that to be run throughout the stake, so we can. But I mean, the cool thing about Hedron too is like once we start the stake, we'll actually know kind of the minimum mintable Hedron for the stake, which is cool. So that's a known variable, but that doesn't, you know, that doesn't count for those bonuses that we might occur over the stake as well. So lots of opportunity there for sure.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I actually saw so is Brandon from A Million, I think it's A Million or the Moon, something like that, or Million
Mhm.
to the Moon. And
Yeah.
then Dipcatcher as well yesterday. And that was really cool to see their stream. And I know, yeah, I know Tanto. How do you say it? Like Tanto Nomanai, or just call him Dipcatcher, or what
Tonto
do you?
Nomonai. So
Okay.
the Tonto Nomonai means a name so great it doesn't need a tombstone or something like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cool name, but people definitely have a hard time like pronouncing it. So yeah, Dipcatcher is probably a lot easier.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. No, that's cool, man. I see that he's
Yeah.
in the chat here, but the only reason I mentioned that in the first place is because I was watching their stream yesterday, and once again, it's a great stream. I should probably link it for people to be able to see. But he was mentioning that, so he's the one that's kind of. Can you guys maybe explain what each of your guys' roles are? Because kind of like a two-partner team, it sounds like. It sounds like he had learned like some of the Solidity code, and like
Yeah.
he does a lot of coding in Python. It sounds like, and then that's cool that he kind of taught himself or learned the Solidity, and then was able to develop the smart contract. Can you maybe explain kind of the duo and the dynamics between what you guys are individually doing for
Totally.
the
Yeah.
Nexus?
So I think I mentioned Brian is a self-taught developer, and he taught himself Python, and was kind of the core developer at the last startup we were at, which is really awesome. So he's been able to take that skill and then, you know, learn Solidity, and so he's combined his Python ability with Solidity to kind of you know, integrate functionalities for that as well. So huge shout out to him. We just passed you know, our first audit, uh, and then we just got our second one back and passed that as well. So to do that like at first go, I'm really really impressed with that. So he's been you know, in charge of development, and kind of the economics as well. And then I have been on the product design aspect of building out the DApp, as well as kind of all the marketing and community management stuff. So yeah, we've been able to really come together, and yeah, we're, you know, we're always getting better about working together with each thing we're launching. And it's been really
Nice.
awesome to see how excited people are about this product. So that's been really really encouraging.
No, that's super cool. And yeah, like I said, Joe Hexotic with the intro and stuff, and I didn't realize how like a lot of the photos that I had seen on Twitter that I was like, damn, who the hell did this? And it's a lot of good design were designs that you had done directly. Can you maybe explain like some of your background? Like, are you self-taught too, or you just really good with Photoshop, or how long have you kind of been doing that?
Yeah, so I had, I was kind of on that track of like doing what you're supposed to do, like, go to college, get a corporate job. And so I did that, I did that for about a year until Brian convinced me to quit and become a founder of what was called VidiVR. And when I started that, the first year after kind of breaking free, I went through this like kind of radical personal discovery. Kind of went a little hippie, but like
Mhm.
I had never like honestly thought myself of being a creator, a creative. But I just kind of found myself through that and really loved product design. So for the app we had built, I designed that app and our website and all the marketing material. And the name GoldKey actually comes from I have terrible handwriting, and one day at an art store, I found these little like wooden keys, and then I got like that gold, like thin gold paper, and just like made these gold keys, and that was kind of my signature on
Oh
my
no,
art pieces that I would just glue on the corner. So yeah, that's where GoldKey comes
that's
from.
awesome.
Yeah, and so since then, I've just been I've I love digital art. I would say collages are kind of my favorite thing to do.
That's
And
cool.
as a profession, I've really found my passion for product design and kind of bringing ideas to life. So I'm really
Mm.
passionate about that.
Dude, that's exciting. What do you like? Are there specific programs that you use more than others? Like, do you use? I guess what do you use? Like Photoshop or other things? Like maybe some of the stuff that you're good with. Because you mentioned collages and stuff too, which I think
Yeah.
is awesome. Right? You can do it for your personal life or with your friends and things like that.
Yeah. So I definitely use Photoshop for collage and stuff. A lot of photo work. Pretty much the whole Adobe suite. I just love.
Mm,
Premiere Pro for videos, Illustrator.
okay.
But as far as like product design goes, my kind of core app that I use is called Figma, which is a free tool. So if anyone's looking to get into product design, completely free tool that you can. It's very powerful. So that's what I use to design products and use to design Maximus
Nice, dude. All
Yeah,
right, cool, man. I'm gonna check it out.
for
It
sure.
makes all the difference in the world. I learned that from obviously the streaming that like, oh, okay, it's not necessarily the video that matters as much. Obviously, some people are watching and stuff, but if the audio is intolerable, then
Yeah.
people aren't gonna watch that versus like a super high quality video and shitty
Yep.
audio.
Yep.
So that's awesome. So one of the questions in the chat here from Funk Master Hex, he says, who pays the end gas fee? So I'm assuming when they mean the Quattro Cinco ends, how does that work? Because can you maybe, before we get into their question, can you maybe explain that like that Maximus is just, from the way that I understand it, it's just like a smart contract, right?
Mhm.
And it's can you maybe explain like its admin key list, stuff like that,
Yeah.
and then kind of how that would work to end the stake?
Totally. So, it's a lot like Hex in that when it launches, it's a complete product, right? So, no expectations are the work of others. No admin keys, no fees. And so, yeah, it's basically just you interacting with this smart contract. And, as far as gas fees go, it's completely decentralized and no expectations. So, anyone can run that function. They can't run it throughout the stake. The stake has to end before that function can be run. But anyone that's willing to pay the gas can in that stake. So um, that's a great question. And as a community, we've already been, we have 15 years to figure that out. And I
Yeah,
think we'll be
yeah,
able to
it's a long
like
time.
solve, one gas fee, but it might be ridiculous. And so Maximus is really kind of a hedge against that risk in the future. As a community, we can come together and figure out if it's insane. Like we'll figure out how to pay it. There's already been talks of developing a separate pool for this gas fee. So yeah, but to kind of simplify that answer, anyone can run that. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, and you know, the thing that I really like about this, because yeah, I always try and do, you know, some research to make sure stuff is legitimate before obviously having people on, which this is. But I love that there's kind of like no you know, like with whether it was Bitcoin or Ethereum and stuff like that, there's sometimes like pre-mines and things like this. But it sounds like the reason that you guys had, and maybe you can answer it too, like the reason why you guys did it, but is to kind of like when I heard Dipcatcher yesterday, he was saying like, you know, he wants to not give, or I guess, yeah, kind of give back through building some products and have it actually be the ecosystem that we want it to be and have it be useful and you know, valuable. So it's cool the way that you guys kind of design this so selfishly, or sorry, selflessly is what I meant to say, selflessly. Because you know the audits, obviously that costs money, and what you guys are doing is taking a whole bunch of time. So what was even the motivation in the first place? You know, most people, this is what we would consider the tragedy of the commons, right? So I guess what was the motivation?
Yeah, you know, you're right. Dipcatcher spoke on that. I would say honestly, like, not only out of like wanting to just build something great for our community, I think, you know, it's also like we really believe in it too, right? Like the only way that we benefit from this is if it does what we believe it will do, right? And the only benefit that we get is equal participation along with everyone else, as far as being able to participate in the mint. You know, like you mentioned, no pre-mine. And yeah, so we really believe in this. And cool. I'm very excited about it personally. But yeah, to Dipcatcher's point, we also, you know, just kind of a philanthropic movement that we want to start here. We think that, you know, this really opens the door for a lot of people, especially smaller stakers, to save on gas and also benefit from a bigger stake. So yeah,
that's cool. No, that's awesome, dude. Like and I know he was kind of mentioning some other pools in the past that might have been more trusted, right? But this is trustless, and I love that, right? There's like nothing to discriminate this product with, because it's just a win-win overall. And so the really cool thing about that is yeah, not only are people able to get when you stake every year, you know, 20% more up until 3,641 days. But when you mention the maxing out of the longer pays better, bigger pays better, etc., that's really cool. Like that really does help out the little guy and you know, men and women and stuff like that. And so it sounds like you guys, can you maybe explain some more of like the launch stuff? So it sounds like you guys are launching on Ethereum, which means right when PULSECHAIN comes out that there would be a duplicate as well, because that's part of the system state. Can you maybe explain? I know you had mentioned you guys are kind of can you maybe just explain where you're at now, like when it comes to, because I hear launch just might be soon, and kind of just where are you guys at in the grand plan?
Yeah, so we're actually launching, or we're announcing the launch date today. So I think
cool.
Dipcatcher and I might hop on a stream and announce that. But yeah, we're very close. You know, as I mentioned, we just got both of our audits back and passed both, which is a huge step. We finished two successful test phases that a lot of people tried out, and everything worked. So, you know, we're really just kind of putting the finishing touches on the landing page, updating the dashboard a little bit. But we're pretty set to launch. And our goal is to launch before the PULSECHAIN fork, and that will, you know, 2x everyone's maxi. And then also, so we are initially going to do a 30-day mint phase. We shortened that down to 14 days. And so, you know, part of that was to kind of ensure that we hopefully, you know, finish before the PULSECHAIN fork.
Sure.
But also, there's the Hedron launch bonuses are still going on. So we're thinking, we'll probably lock in a 4x Hedron bonus as well with this stake, which is huge. And actually, I just learned yesterday that it essentially is a 5x. So yeah, 2x on PULSECHAIN fork and a 4x Hedron bonus. So it's going to be a really good opportunity.
Mm. Dude, that's so cool. I love the way they
Yeah.
explain that too. And dude, also it's just like, man, it's so exciting. It's really cool that you guys are kind of launching on Ethereum, and so did Hedron as well. You know, you
Mhm.
see some people that are just launching on Pulse, which, you know, good for them as well. But
Yeah.
who doesn't like a free copy? You know, who doesn't like a
Totally. Yeah.
duplicate? Um, let me let me ask some of the questions in the chat. So this
Cool.
is Smofit Meals by Monica. She says, is this going to only happen once, or do you see this happening again?
Great question. Yeah, this has been a question that's been, flooding in our Telegram. So as of right now, what we're really focused on this is first launch, right? We want to knock this out of the park. We've kept this one as simple as possible, really. One, for people to like easily understand it, but two, to just really lower that contract risk. So, Maximus only
Mm,
has basically 6 functions. So very, very
mhm.
simple contract. So as far as future launches go, there is a possibility that there may be future pools. If there is, it would be a separate contract in token. Because the one thing I try to reiterate as much as possible is that the only time Maxi will be created is during that one-time 14-day min phase. After that, the supply is fixed, and there will never be any other Maxi tokens created. So I
I
try
love
to
that.
make that super clear. And as of right now, there aren't any set plans for future launches.
Yeah. No, I love not the sense of urgency, but I just
Yeah,
love the idea that um yeah, I mean, you got to be kind of plugged in, right? Just like with
yeah,
when Richard first launched Hex, if you had Bitcoin in your own possession, right, you'd have to know, hey, I have to have this in my possession versus say on Coinbase. But if you
yeah.
did, I think it was before like December 1st, because obviously December 2nd is when it launched. Then yeah, obviously you'd get the qualification for the free
Mhm.
claim. But
Yeah,
it's cool the way that you guys mentioned kind of, you know, a 14-day phase and period that
yeah,
all of that kind of happened. So can you explain like when you announce the launch and things like that, what does one do? So if I have liquid hex, which I do,
mhm,
some liquid hex, do where do I go? What are the steps? Do like what's the website that
yeah,
you said goes to a DApp, like the centralized app? You just
yep.
connect and then swap. Can you maybe explain how that might work?
Definitely. And also, I just one more point about the thing we were just talking about too.
Mm. Mhm.
So the one cool thing about the liquidity of Maximus 2 is that you're not only able to sell your position in the stake, but you're also able to grow it, right? So over time, there might be times when on the market price might dip below like the backing value per maxi, and you can actually grow your position in the Maximus stake as well. So
I'd
for those
love
people
that.
that yeah, like I personally wish I had more funds to be able to like mint more, honestly, but there is hope in that you can buy maxi down the road as well, so that's something really cool. So as far as getting ready for Maximus and what that will look like, so as you mentioned, you're going to need liquid hex. Right now is a really, really good time to buy. So not financial advice, but good time. Price is looking good right now. So you want to stack your hex. At launch, our site is maximus.cash. So you'll go there. Um, you know, I think the button says Mint Maxi, and that'll take you into our DApp. And yeah, you'll be able to input how much hex you want to pledge to the Maximus contract. You approve that, and then you'll be able to mint, and you automatically, you instantly get your Maxi tokens. So pretty simple process, and then the stake will start after that mint phase is over.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
I was just sharing the screen, so because
cool.
I did look at the site a little bit before, but I mainly wanted to watch your guys' content and kind of,
Yeah,
you know, get a whole feel for it. But so that's awesome. So that's where they'll go once everything goes live is Maximus.cash, correct? And then just the launch app, and like you said, pretty much instantaneously via the app itself, you can, or via the decentralized app, I mean, you can get the maxi for
yep,
the hex, right?
yep,
Okay.
exactly.
That's awesome. I love you know, some people are more visual learners than
Yep,
just auditory, you know, so I love that you guys have the benefits and once again, Maximus.cash. So that's a really good website. Let me come back over here and then, so let's ask another question that this person has. So Funk Master Hex once again says, what are the pros and cons of someone else coming along and doing the same group max stake thing? Doesn't seem like it would hurt anything. And would Maxi run just once ever, or would there be more? I think you had kind of answered that last question, but maybe the first question too. I guess what stops someone from doing such a thing? Tanto had mentioned yesterday the staking, obviously, right? The shares themselves only get more expensive in the cost of Hex, but maybe.
Pros and cons of. So as far as like our contract goes, it is available for viewing, but it is an open source, so someone wouldn't be able to just copy our code. But if someone wanted to build their own contract and run a similar stake pool, they're free market, right? It's hard to say like pros and cons of that. I would hope that they did it right? Like, get the audits and make sure the contract is good. I just wouldn't want to see anyone, get wrecked off of like a, similar to how people have tried to like recreate Hex and it just doesn't work. And get people wrecked. So that would be the con. And I think I mentioned as far as like future contracts with Maximus, it's a possibility, just no set plans yet.
Totally. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for answering that. Let me, let's see. I'm just really good at Photoshop. Yeah. Nice to see you, Abit. Thoughtchild, he says, so repeating question, what do the folks with extreme time constraints do to follow and participate? Is there a Telegram group? I know that there is a Twitter, which I will link in just a second in the chat. But can you maybe explain, where do people go for the latest and greatest information? You guys mentioned you might have like an announcement later today, etc.
Yep. So our Twitter is Maximus_Dao. I think you linked it in the description. So that's there.
Okay, that is right. Okay.
Yeah. And then our Telegram is t.me/Maximus Dao, all one word. So yeah, we'll definitely be announcing both on Twitter and in Telegram launch date. So, and then the good thing is like with the mint phase, it is a 14-day thing. So you should have plenty of time to mint Maxi when you can. So, and there's no one thing about like the minting phase as well, and the reason we were able to like shorten it is because there is no like bonding curve. You can mint one Maxi per one Hex for the whole 14 days.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
dude, I'm so excited about that. I know you had mentioned, and not that you were asking because you weren't, but I know that you had mentioned that, you and Tanto, I mean, obviously you guys had, freaking put your money and stuff like that, right? For the audits and to do a good service for the community, which I think is super commendable. And I think that that's awesome, kind of leading by example, like you mentioned, for how things kind of as like a precedent should be set almost as like a GoldKey standard type of deal. But anyways,
I will say, I'm not. Tonto put up the money for the audits. I didn't put that. So shout out Tonto for paying for those. Really appreciate it. And I just want to make that clear. I can't take credit for that.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the clarification. I was gonna ask, do you guys have like, and once again, not that you're like begging and stuff, but do you guys have like an ETH address or something like that that people could donate to if they wanted to? Because I mean, I definitely, thank you guys for making my bags bigger, right? For when I swap over to Maxi. Obviously those audits aren't cheap, but maybe there's something after the stream or something like that like an ERC20 address that people could send to if they want.
There is an audit kind of donation address, and I think it's a past pin message in our Telegram. So if you do want to that would go to repaying Tonto for paying for the audits. So
I totally think it's important. I see I've heard Motley Investor mention it before too, but not every hexagon does, but those that can, and those that have been in for a while and stuff, like, show support for the people that are busting their ass, that are doing something that benefits you and everyone else. So I'd love to help out with that. But
awesome.
But so Monica, she says audit question mark. Can you maybe, so you mentioned you got 2 of them. Can you maybe explain, because I understand that they're from like 2 different companies. Can you maybe explain, so Tanto had mentioned that the code itself is like 126 lines or something. Can you explain some of that?
Yeah. So Tanto actually did a great video, which we tweeted out, kind of actually going through the first audit. So if you have time and you want to check that out, definitely go watch that. And yeah, so no critical errors. They did provide like 3 points of like informational feedback that would improve gas efficiency. And so Tonto made those changes and resubmitted, and they marked those points as resolved, which is awesome. And then it's the second one we just got back yesterday, and we passed as well. And maybe Tonto, if he has time, we'll do another video kind of breaking it down. But yeah, really awesome. Big steps towards getting ready for launch is passing those audits. So that was huge.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, so Junior USMC, nice to see you, man. Really cool hexagon. I like this guy a lot. But he says, is the core code immutable? Question mark.
Correct. Yep. Completely immutable. No admin keys. So, after launch, no one has access to like the treasury or anything. And actually the only way to like get the Hex and interest plus, or Hex principal plus interest in Hedron is to burn Maxi. That's the only way. So yeah, that's why those audits were really important, because we do want to make sure, and we along with the 2 public tests, we've also been running tests in the background, a lot of tests, so thoroughly tested and audited. So we're very confident for launch now.
Yeah, dude, that's so cool, man. It's it's almost like when Hex first came out, it's like, oh, cool, this is making crypto fun again. And then Richard realized, oh, okay, Ethereum's kind of screwing us. Let's create our own, consensus network too. And then that just made it just so much more like a whole new world, right? For endless possibilities. So I think it's so exciting what you guys are doing, and there's just a whole bunch of excitement, man. So I really like that. But so Dipcatcher, he's got something to say. He says, this is something we want to use ourselves. And if it was just me minting my own stakes and trying to sell pieces, there may not be a market. If there's a bunch of us, there could be a market made.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Let's see. Crypto Ewok, nice to see you. I know he was kicking ass too the other day in Cabana Crypto. He's got like a little trivia thing. Awesome. He's always on top of stuff. So nice to see him. He says the bigger pays better will only hit maximum if 150 million hex is entered, correct?
Yep, correct. So it's a 10% bonus up to 150 million hex. So I think that's a great goal to shoot for. And I think that's like kind of everyone's, when they hear about a stake pool, that's the first thing they think about. And so something we've definitely had to spend time with is kind of like opening the door to like kind of the other benefits as well, right? Like having that liquidity, having the gas fee savings is huge for a lot of people. So yeah, just something we've talked about a lot.
Well, dude, it's freaking genius, man, because who likes paying gas fees to a middleman that's just going to sell it in the first place? And it's not a win-win. It's a means to an end, and it should have never been so expensive, right? But Dipcatcher, and I'm like 13 minutes behind on chat, so this was like 13 minutes ago, but he says, should GoldKey drop the launch date here on stream? Question mark.
I don't know.
I'm just reading the comment.
Yeah, no, I appreciate. Oh, dang! Put me on the spot. Yeah, I'll have to text Ryan in a minute to.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I'm ready for the drop.
Yeah, no, it's cool, man. Either way, you guys are really doing a great job, and I think that's so cool. I mean, it's rare that you see people that not only are good friends, but then are in a similar industry, and it's awesome that you guys kind of have like a win-win situation where Dipcatcher is really good at I mean, obviously you guys are both good at a lot of things, but
Yeah.
you're kind of taken ahead of the design part you had mentioned, and then also Dipcatcher is kind of doing the code. Do you know how many lines the code is? Because I think Dipcatcher had said it was like 120 something.
Um, I believe, since we added the last time I checked was before we actually added the Hedron. Dipcatcher, in the comments, how many lines of code is the contract? He's
Exactly. Yeah.
he's the coder. So
Perfect.
I'll leave the answer to him.
Yes, sir. Let me so I was gonna scroll all the way down because there's like too many comments to read all of them at the
No
same
worries.
time. And once again, we're don't want to go longer than an hour just to keep things succinct. So maybe another 13 minutes or so at
Cool.
most. If anyone has any questions, please do ask them in the chat. Let me just come up over here. This is a new user that I've seen, so welcome.
Awesome.
Taco Freak says, I like Maximus. I like their transparency and how they've handled questions.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really cool.
I gotta emphasize, like, we welcome questions a lot. Like, it really helps us, like, to know what people are thinking about the products. But yeah, I mean, we'll never like block anybody or yeah, we really encourage questions. So appreciate you guys asking them.
After the stream, I was responding. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I mean, and what's his face? Crypto Heartbeat. He says something like transparency builds intimacy, something like that.
Yeah.
Where and that's exactly what Richard did with Hex, right? Where and I love that with Maxi. I haven't heard any FUD. Like,
Yeah.
and what's
It's
there to
weird.
FUD? Like,
Yeah.
geez, like just learn how to comprehend and how to read
Yeah.
and think critically. But it's really cool that yeah, what you guys are doing is it's like another layer of game theory. And once again, I like the idea, because Richard used to have a company called like Efficient Systems. He's always mentioned that he can take things just like with Ethereum and make it more efficient. But it's really cool to see what you guys are doing, because instead of paying I don't know, hundreds of gas fees at a
Yeah.
Quattro Cinco basis, you guys are kind of consolidating it down to one, and it just makes the most sense to maximize the Hex contract.
Yeah, I mean, those bonuses, I don't know if a lot of people realize this, but like those bonuses were built to incentivize consolidating your stakes, right? Like
Mm.
create bigger and longer stakes. And so Maximus is really doing that kind of to an extreme level. And it's actually reduces a lot of load on the network, is why Richard designed it that way. So,
Yeah,
oh yeah.
gotta love
Yeah.
that efficiency. Hextech 16, and he's actually one of the first people. So I'd heard about Maxi, and then I was like, geez, there's a never ending of new tokens to hear about. Like,
Yeah.
I'll kind of look into it when I can. And then a couple of days later, him and I are chit-chatting on the phone for a few hours, and he told me about it, and it's like, man, that is so simple. Why hadn't it been done before? And so
Yeah.
I love once again the way that you guys are setting a precedent and kind of a right way of doing things. Because if something's done half-ass, and then a whole bunch of people go to participate and have a bad experience, and obviously, that's a lose-lose situation, instead of
Yeah.
something like that you guys are doing, which is taking the time to make sure that it's done correctly, that's done properly.
Yep.
And I really like that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Hextech, he says, will the Maximus token automatically populate our MetaMask wallet, or will we have to manually add it after minting?
Great question, and good to see you, Hextech. Thanks for I see you on Twitter, man. Thanks for shouting out Maximus. So yeah, for minting, the Maxi will automatically go into your wallet. So yeah, that it's basically just a transaction. Once the transaction goes through, those newly minted Maxi are in your wallet. So kind of a question along those lines too, that some people have been asking is, when Oh, I'm still there. Okay. When the stake ends, do I automatically get my hex and hedron? And the answer to that one is no. So you actually have to redeem your portion of the pool, the hex principal plus interest and the hedron, by burning your maxi through the contract, through our DApp. So
I love that.
Just wanted to make that clear as well.
No, I appreciate the clarification. It's always you know, that's why asking questions are important. I forget actually this one guy on YouTube that I was following the other day, he said, you know, asking 10 questions in, you know, because usually 10 questions in, you kind of get to all the minutia and the specific details. So yeah, just to clarify, you mentioned when the 14-day the phase itself kind of launches, then you're going to be able to go through the DApp, convert the hex to the maxi immediately. 1 for 1, right? Is it 1 for 1 or how does?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So one maxi per 1 hex. And also really want to make this clear. So this is not a sacrifice. So do not send your hex to the contract directly, because it will be locked up and that will be distributed to the maxi holders. That you cannot get your maxi by just sending it to the contract address. You have to run the function through our DApp. So just want to make that super, super clear.
I appreciate that, dude, because I was one of the first people that had like sent a whole bunch of ETH to the contract address, and I was like, where the hell is my hex, dude? And Richard's like, you know, I still have like the Telegram messages, but Richard's like, yeah, you know, you fucked up, dude. You need to go into the mint function and actually, you know, do it via the smart contract, not just because I had done hardware wallets and Litecoin and Bitcoin and stuff, but never messed around with smart contracts. So that is something I will clip out separately for a clip is, do not send your hex to the actual address itself. So you'd mentioned it's kind of like the same way you get in is the same way that you'll get out, right? So the same way that you mint your the same way that you mint your maxi via hex using the smart contract itself, the decentralized app, is the same way once the stake ends, that you'll take that maxi and then go back into that same smart contract decentralized application, and then that burns the maxi and gives you the hex and the hedron.
Yep, exactly. And actually, if you look at the DApp, it's actually like, it looks very, very similar, like the actual component. So for minting, you input the amount of hex that you want to pledge and mint. And then for redemption, you just input the amount of maxi that you want to redeem with, and that will burn your maxi and then distribute the hex and hedron.
Awesome. We got Whales Only in the chat and pretty much everyone else. Let's just see here. So once again, we'll just go for like just another minute. I was just seeing if there's any last minute questions. Maximus is 245 lines of code with 6 functions, ? System overload. Obviously he's kidding. Good to see you, Thas. So yeah, man, I mean, I think we've honestly covered just about everything. I mean, nice to see you, Completion Fails, and everyone else. So as far as any other questions, I mean, I feel like I've asked a lot of the questions. Once again, the website itself, I do still have it here on the share screen, which is right here, maximus.cash. And once again, I'll put that in the description and in the YouTube channel as well. But I guess I feel like, once again, we've covered a lot of everything, but do you maybe have any last minute remarks that I haven't asked you, or anything that we should say in conclusion for people to kind of, once again, you mentioned that yourself and Dipcatcher might have like an announcement today, another stream. So I guess follow Dipcatcher for that, right? Anything else that we should include?
Yeah, I mean, today we're announcing launch date, like you said. So yeah, we're here to answer any questions. So use this as a resource. Hop on our Telegram, t.me. Oh, you put it right there. Awesome. So yeah, if you guys have any lingering questions, feel free to hop in there. It's kind of popping off right now. Everyone's pretty excited about the launch. So hop in and get ready.
Awesome. Well, yeah, dude, once again, I really appreciate your time. You know, this is kind of like the perfect length for a video, not too long, not too short. We covered a lot of the information. So yeah, once again, dude, thanks again for coming on. I really appreciate you and Dipcatcher. It's really cool to see that people in the community, not just talking the talk, right, but walking the walk too. And once again, people, they asked me the other day, they say, hey, Bran, what can Hexicans do that don't want to show their face, that aren't public and stuff? And it's like, well, if you're good at something, damn it, then help contribute, or try and think of, people that you can work with that can provide solutions as well. Because what you guys did there is really cool. And I love the dichotomy of a win-win situation. It's kind of like your hat. Your hat kind of looks like a little yin yang logo almost. And that's kind of how I feel about you and and Tonto, Dipcatcher.
Yeah, it's a new wave coming for sure. And honestly, I just want to say thank you so much for what you do for this community. I know you've helped so many people learn about Hex, and I really thank you for being an awesome part of our community too.
Oh yeah, dude. We're gonna be here for a long time. And I love it, dude. Once again, it's the community. It's a grassroots community that's just getting stronger. And I love to see it, especially as you're already kind of seeing it. The very last thing I'll say is the economic mass and the wealth is already kind of building up for some people slowly but surely, and some people faster than others. And I love how people are able to use that economic mass and that wealth to make the world a better place, and to change some things that have been needed to be changed for a while. So once again, man, thank you again for coming on. I'm gonna do the outro now, and I guess everyone tune in to Dipcatcher and GoldKey's announcement later today.
Awesome.
All right, thanks everyone. Bye.
Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like, be sure to share, be sure to comment. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey. Motherfucking jackpot. We still jackpot, bitch!
Thank you, Richard, for creating and founding the most amazing and disruptive financial technology cryptocurrency ever. Thank you, sir. And nice streams, Mr. BallietBran. It's fabulous.